No, because that would be completely non-beneficial to their their general, being.
They
Like
could
why
shit
why build an
semen.
android that has random flaws like that? Why even build a circuit into them that makes them think they're like that they have like human thought processes?
What
Pooping
if a
is
bunch
pooping is a human flaw.
what if a bunch of people are having sex with them? Then they might have to poop out the semen.
That's different. They probably just absorb it as like a fuel source.
Or else they just start stealing your genetic information
Yeah, through your
and find out what crimes you've committed.
I mean,
Oh,
that's what I
there for your
call
DNA.
Oh my
renewable
God!
energy.
Talk about CSI, little Law and Order, SVU, giggity,
Get
giggity.
everybody's DNA on file.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. I'm the Law Morris, and joining me this week, we have gorgeous Ben Reynolds
Meow.
and the effervescent Andrew Etchen.
Hello.
Now, you're listening to
Wasn't
number
very effervescent.
That wasn't. Do you want to try that again?
Hello.
Oh, much better.
Nailed it. You're listening to number 79, the one where we're going to talk about the launch titles and which console had the best launch lineup. We do have a ton to get to tonight. It's probably going to be a two-parter, so strap in. But we're going to start with what we've been playing this week. Ben, tell me what you've been playing this week.
Resident Evil 2.
Deuces.
Andrew, is
Resident
that what
Evil.
you've been primarily playing?
Well, I played a fair amount, but then I started playing Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3. So now it's been like a trade-off of like scary and then super, super upbeat before I go to bed.
All right. So I've been playing Resident Evil 2 as well. So let's just have a little bit of a conversation about that.
It's so good.
Ben, I think you're the one that's played the most Resident Evil out of the three of us.
Oh, Fels.
Oh, you
Yeah, I
played a
don't
lot
know
of
if I
it,
have.
Andrew?
I mean, I've played every single game up to 7.
Oh, okay.
Like,
So this is
and I
my
played
second
half of
Resident Evil.
7.
So tell me what you guys think of this one.
I'd never played 2 before, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. I really like the puzzles like better than the other Resident Evil games that I have played. I feel like that this one has really good puzzles, and like having to like go through the documents and like all of that, and like
And read.
yeah, and then it feels like you get the feel of the game is great. Like it doesn't feel like it's too hard. It doesn't feel like it's too not
Easy.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
enough
easy
of
is
like
a better word
like
for
a
not hard.
sprinting through like areas where you're like, oh, one or two zombies, no biggie. But then like sometimes I ran through a hallway and like zombies were just pouring through the fucking windows. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
I know exactly which hallway you're talking
And I
about.
had to I had to run the hell away.
I still haven't taken the time to board up those windows.
Yeah, I've boarded up most of the windows. So that's another question I have off the bat. Do the boards permanently stop things from coming in the windows? Okay.
To my knowledge, yes.
I should just do that everywhere. Just have boards on me at all times.
Yeah. I mean, there's
If you've
there's
got the
not-
inventory space.
Yeah, so you have to
Well-
work on finding hit packs.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have I think all of them except for the one that's in the lockers.
Yeah, I haven't found the second key to open the locker yet.
Yeah, I found one of the keypads. One of the things I really like about the game, I've played the first one and the second one and Zero, like way back in the day. I bought all 3 of them on the PS4 and just played them on there. But they were just masters of the originals, so they were just the same thing, just a little prettier. And all of those games are made in a way where if you screw up an inventory space and pick up something you're not supposed to, or it's kind of forgiving, but to a point. The very first game actually gets to a point where if you fuck up using like a certain number of like ink wells to save, you can't save anymore. Or if you like use too many keys, because you'll just find like a simple key. You'll unlock the wrong door, and you can't progress, and you have to just start the game over. So like the second one, this version of it, having the map show you like which rooms are out of items, and even highlighting the items in the rooms so you can go back and get them later. All of that helps make the game a lot more like accessible, because otherwise, like those fixed camera versions back in the day, and easily being able to go the wrong way and never be able to go back was really frustrating. Where like I haven't run into that at all. All I've run into in this is just like, all right, I just gotta run away a little.
Some quality of life improvements.
It didn't make it too easy, but definitely help keep track of everything.
One of the things that I was really enjoying, because like I said, this is my second Resident Evil. I feel like this is really what Resident Evil has always been meant to be. In the sense that like, it's just, this is the realization of, I think, what the original vision for Resident Evil was. And it's awesome. It's an amazing game. One of the things I was thinking is they hit this perfect balance between like, it's not so scary that I'm like stressed and almost don't want to play, but it is tense. Like
7, I think all of that comes from the third versus first person. Like the first person mode makes the game in 7 feel more like Outlast, where you're kind of like really tense and you don't know where like everything is. Something jumps at you, it's like jumping right into your face. Where like, you know, this one in the over the shoulder view, when something jumps at you, you're like, shit, come on.
The atmosphere,
you start like,
the atmosphere in 7 was very different, and I think contributed a lot to the horror aspect. But I was thinking this hit that really perfect balance. Then I ran into the Tyrant, and the Tyrant makes the game so much scarier.
Well, Claire too, I know her story literally has more of the Tyrant. So the Tyrant shows up sooner and is all over the place. Where like Leon's, I've already gotten through like the first boss encounter, and I haven't encountered the Tyrant, but I've sort of seen him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I got to the Tyrant, and he's super duper scary. And he just adds.
He'll just like kill you in one hit, right?
I don't know. If
you don't have a sub weapon, I'm pretty sure he just like crushes your face.
I shot at him, and I ran around him, and then I just ran away. And I hear him walking around, and you can tell when he's getting closer. You can tell that
you
he's
want to
looking
like
for
hide
you.
From him. Yeah.
But yeah, he's terrifying.
There's an achievement for shooting his hat off.
I'm noted. I'll do that. Ben, you played Leon first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, what are your thoughts? Because I played Claire first. What are your thoughts on like the story development and the character? Because Leon is actually a pretty prominent character throughout the entire series.
Yeah. He's my favorite character personally.
I like Leon, definitely. He's a cool character. It's that would be a shitty first day, definitely, for anybody.
So actually, I guess, Ben, you saying it was the first day kind of jogged my memory about the desk. How there's like the desks and the locks, and you have to do the puzzle. And like, there have been something I actually really like about the game is there have been a few lockers that I've come across that are just locked. And you can actually muscle them open. Yeah. Uh-huh. Like, you can, if you're willing to do it, you can just start going through every possible combination.
Yeah, but the 3, doesn't that mean like there's at least like 100 combination options?
Yeah, you just got to do it.
I mean, that sounds fucking terrible. I would just Google all of them and be like, what are the solutions?
I've found it takes 3 to 4 minutes, and you can get it done.
To just like try each one.
Yeah. So you set You have like your first, your second, and your third. You set the first, then you set the second, then you go through every possibility on the third. Then you change the second. Then you go through every possibility on the third. Then you change the second. And then you go through every possibility on the third until you've done every possibility on the third on every possibility on the second.
Then
you
switch
change
the
the
first.
first.
Oh God, why do you do that to yourself? You just muscle them open. You're like, when I'm doing it, the time freezes, so the bad guys stop.
Yeah,
Well, that's like when you find those electronic boxes with the like codes.
A little lights.
You basically do the same thing, but
Yeah, you
that's
have to do
it's those ones. It's easier because it gives you more of a feedback.
Yeah. So, in a way, maybe I'm using it as a little bit of escapism from the game. Have you guys? So Andrew, you must have by now, but Ben, I'm thinking you probably have. Have you guys encountered the lickers?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Ooh.
Oh wait, is that the brain?
should have.
The brain
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
The things that crawl on the ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did those scare the shit out of you the first time around like they did me?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, the thing that pissed me off with that is like the first time you encounter them with Leon, there's one little spoiler on a ceiling, and he like spits his tongue down and grabs a dead body and pulls it up to him and starts eating it on the ceiling. And then as you walk up with your flashlight, it sort of like stops and like looks at you slowly and drops the body and then jumps off the ceiling at you. And while he was like munching on the thing, I had a shotgun. I was just like blam, 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 blam. I like emptied a whole clip into it while it's just doing its animation, and then it jumped down and attacked me, and I got like one shotgun blast to the back of the head and it killed it instantly. And I was like, well, I just wasted like 6 shots. And so I was very pissed about that because shotgun ammo is precious. God damn it.
Ben, do you have the shotgun too?
Yep.
That's interesting because I don't have the shotgun yet. I have the.
Well, Claire gets a grenade launcher.
Yeah,
Don't you?
I have the grenade launcher, and it's like I can craft different grenades. Like I have an incendiary grenade and I have an acid grenade. And
Pretty sure the incendiaries are like always the best thing you can possibly use.
The acid grenades were pretty awesome against the lickers.
Were they?
Yeah. So there was this. There's this room that, like, again, spoilers. There's this room when you're playing as Claire. When you're in the parking garage, you have to go through this room, and there's 2 lickers in the room, and I didn't have enough grenades to get through it, so I had to sneak past them.
Well, yeah, because you can go slowly because they're blind.
Because they're blind. And so it's like, and it's so tense and it's so terrifying. And then...
Because they also, when they sort of hear you, don't they like jump and sort of attack in like a direction?
When they not... So they don't hear you. If you go slow enough, they won't hear you, but they smell you. And
so they'll come up to you and
they'll
like...
start walking towards you, and you have to slowly back away and not panic and like navigate your way around as they're trying to sniff you out because they know you're there, but they can't hear you.
Yeah, and they grab. I mean, playing it on the Pro too, that game runs buttery smooth.
Yeah, it runs really well. It's just a fantastic game. I think that. So
it's one of those games I want to like beat it so I can get like an unlimited ammo gun and then just like speed run the game, being like, yeah,
just power fantasy the entire game. So I think that for like this is very obviously what Resident Evil has always been intended to be, and for me, Resident Evil has always had up until 7, Resident Evil has always had one major barrier to entry as a reason that I wasn't willing to play the game. For 1, 2, and 3, it was the static camera. And then for
4 is my favorite.
For 4, it's the tank controls. Ben, did you play 4? Because I know you played 5 and 6, right?
Yeah, I played 5, 6, and a little bit of 7.
You just run to a corner and then do the quick turn, and with your back to a corner, just pop, 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 and just start killing things.
Ben, do 5 and 6 have tank controls?
What do you mean tank controls?
Tank controls where you can't move while you're aiming?
Yeah, so you have to kind of like run forward and turn, and then you can do like the quick like backs, like quick turn on.
Can you
foot.
move and aim at the same time in 5 and 6?
No, you can't move while you're shooting in 4. But 5, I don't think you can in 5, but you might be able to in 6.
I can't
6 was
remember, honestly.
I hated 6.
Yeah, 6. I've heard that 6 is the worst. So 1, 2, and 3, it was the static cam. 4, it was the tank controls. I just wasn't willing to deal with that. 5 and 6, I just heard were pretty bad games.
5 is super fun. 5 is like 4 is my favorite, but 5 is like just on the cusp of arcadey, but still being.
If you're playing it with a friend too, it's fun, but it is also super racist.
It can be
super racist.
It's definitely like really fun with another person, but it's one of those games I like had on the computer, and after beating it the first time, and
Andrew was like, "Yeah, I really enjoyed committing a genocide in Africa."
It was great. No, but it was fun getting like all the unlimited versions of the guns, and you would just run through areas and be like, blam, and just fucking like take out a group of zombies with like your 5-barrel sawn-off shotgun. You just be like,
but like, but then 7 was amazing. 7 was excellent. It was my game of the year in 2017. I adored 7. But this is like, I feel like, do you guys think that this is the future of Resident Evil? Do you think that this is the direction they move in? And do they do more remakes? Like, do they remake 3 in this same style? Or do you guys think
I heard that
8?
They're thinking about it because they want to make the original trilogy all like new and shiny. Which like, did they make a new shiny-ish version of the first one? Am I missing something? Did they?
It's still static cams and everything, but everything is 3D rendered and it's like remastered and yeah.
But this is a remake, not a remaster.
No, but 1 is a remake as well. It's just a remake in the exact same style, whereas this is a remake in a totally different style. Like they in 1 they remade it and they still used static cams. They just used it like it's a different engine and it's 3D art, whereas the backdrops in the original version of 1 were
paintings.
Yeah, basically they were just images.
And he would just run up and like you just click until you found something.
And then then they remade 1 and it's actually everything is actually rendered 3D and it's an environment
in
that you
the
actually
area.
move around.
The first one is a cool one.
But then this one is a totally different style of game. There's no static cams. It's all.
They
totally
also
different.
changed a lot of the puzzles. Like they made the puzzles.
They changed
different.
the map. They changed the puzzles.
And I know the Tyrant does not follow you around the game in the original. Like the Tyrant does not like stomp around the whole place with you at all times, looking for you. Like he's in like specific places.
So Ben, would you rather see a remake in this style of 3, or would you rather see a Resident Evil 8? And if you want to see 8, would you see it? Would you want it in this style or the style of 7?
In this style, because 7, I think the first person contributed it to it being so scary.
Just too.
Yeah,
neither
like
of you could get through 7, could you?
Yeah, like it's supposed to be sort of scary, but like Resident Evil is all about like you still, feel like you as you progress, you're like you get a little more comfortable, and you're like fucking bring it on. Or 7, you kind of never feel like that. You're just always like, what the fuck is happening? Like, you're feeling your way around in the dark. Like,
well, I mean, we're all gonna keep playing it, and we'll probably do a spoiler cast on Resident Evil 2 on our thoughts on it after I've all finished it. So look forward to that, I suppose. But that brings us to the news in 5.
News in 5.
It's less than 4.
5.
This jam just keeps going.
Or is it less than 6 and more than 4?
And Nintendo has no plans for a successor to the Nintendo Switch or a price cut. 5 minutes on the clock. When asked about this, Nintendo's president, Furukawa, said Nintendo is, quote, not considering a successor or a price cut at this time. Now, do you guys think that when he says successor, do you think he's referring to any future iterations of the Switch, or is he referring strictly to like the next console?
He's like, nah, y'all, we fucking did it.
I started hearing about a smaller Switch with less features, and potentially.
I think that that's the Switch I want. But do you think that? So you think that they definitely? How confident do you feel, Ben, that they have a iteration of the Switch in like coming down the pipe?
I feel decently confident, but do you think that iteration, so that if they did, would the Joy-Cons be smaller? Because like I don't feel like you can get the Joy-Cons that much smaller.
I don't think the Joy-Cons would be removable.
Then wouldn't that like make certain games unplayable?
No. So I think that basically it would be a limited version of the Switch. I think that the best idea is I think the best idea for what they can do, and I've been a vocal proponent of this a couple of times on this show, is basically take the guts of a Switch and pack it into the shell of a 2DS XL and put all the controls on the bottom half. So add another full-size circle pad and just don't have a bottom screen. But basically make it like a portable only Switch. So it's like, it doesn't dock, it doesn't take Joy-Con. It's a single player portable experience only.
Why make it so that it doesn't dock? Why not let it still dock?
That's actually
just don't sell it with a dock.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like, just let it dock, and then people can buy Joy-Con if they want.
Yeah, exactly.
And give it some way to sync with Joy-Con, I guess, because the way it syncs is by attaching the Joy-Con. So yeah, I mean, does them not considering a price cut at this point surprise you guys?
I heard that their sales projections are going down, even though that they've done very well.
Oh shit! 2 minutes. All right. Well, we're gonna go over 5, but Fallout 76. Bethesda just doesn't know when to quit, and the public perception of this game just, I guess, keeps going in the trash. Bethesda announced last week that they'll be selling an official Fallout 76 leather jacket for $276 on their website.
And it's going to be nylon. It's going to be a fucking windbreaker.
Probably. I mean, a windbreaker is...
Yeah.
What'd you say, Ben?
None of our friends will buy it.
I mean, maybe Nathan.
He does defend it.
Nathan loves that game. But yeah, it's probably going to be nylon. It's probably going to be a windbreaker, and they're probably going to offer you 50 atoms in-game currency. Also, I don't know. Have you guys seen the pictures of it?
Yeah, it looks dorky.
Hideous. Dorky is exactly the way to put it.
Minute 30 left. Let's move on.
Let's move on. The Wii Shop channel has officially closed. As of yesterday.
He's gone.
The Wii Shop channel is closed. Now, this is sort of the beginning of the age of digital games disappearing, which is fairly concerning. I mean, like, things like the Wii Shop channel closing are really what drives that debate between physical versus digital. Andrew, you and I are both proponents of each side pretty heavily. You have a decent experience of, like, this is why I buy digital, but with the flood taking a lot of your physical games. But
those damn fucking bastards on the Halo planets.
I know.
I didn't put that together.
They came and stole fucking Andrew's video games.
Yep.
Yes,
because he
did.
put PlayStation instead of Xbox.
The heavens rained down upon me and decided I was not worthy.
But does this make you more hesitant about digital? Because eventually, not only are you not going to be able to buy games, you're not going to be able to even download the games you've already bought.
The way that I kind of think about it is the Wii was from when I was a teenager, and I've long since moved on to something else. And while I do kind of like collecting video games as just something in my life as a collector, that's really the only thing I've done.
You also like collecting
I've
bones.
sort of reached a point where I feel like, when the PlayStation, stops selling PS3 games or PS4 games or whatever, they take them off the network. I feel like I will have long since moved on to the next grouping of things.
But
and
your
I'm
collection will be
okay
gone
with that. It's more the memories of the games.
You'll never be able to go relive those memories.
Well,
shit.
I'm not really someone who likes to go back and just replay games. Honestly, did the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne are the only games I've gone back and replayed multiple times. Most games I finish, I put down, and I'm done with them. Like Subnautica, I loved. Then I platinumed it, and I beat the game.
You're never going to go back to it.
Not going to download it again, but they did just release early access for their new DLC, so waiting for that to be
so
on
maybe
PlayStation.
You will go back.
Oh, I will eventually, but the DLC is a whole different game, so
yeah. And Metroid Prime 4, I have no idea what the fuck Ben is showing us right now. Metroid Prime 4 is going to be delayed.
PlayStation 9, baby.
PlayStation 9, baby. Nintendo announced in a short video last week that unfortunately Metroid Prime 4 has faced some pretty serious development problems. And Nintendo finally came to a decision, and they said that they take this decision very seriously, which I can only imagine they do because they just flushed a bunch of money down the toilet. That they needed to scrap everything that has been done, citing the fact that what has been done has not lived up to their standards of quality. Silver lining, though, the project has officially been handed over to Retro Studios, which is the developer studio that was behind Metroid Prime 2, and Metroid Prime 3. So
that's good.
Starting over with a new team a year and a half after the game was announced is a huge delay. But when do you guys think we're going to see this game come out?
Probably not till 2020.
On PlayStation 9.
On PlayStation 9. Well, 2020, Andrew, I think is pretty generous. I don't expect this game until 2021 at the earliest. Ben, PlayStation 9, not only are you predicting a jump in platform, but...
No, I mean it's going to be a long time.
Oh, okay.
2029.
2029.
Whatever that PlayStation 9 ad says the PlayStation 9 comes out, that's when
Metroid Prime 4 is coming.
Yeah.
Well, that takes
we're
us
here, y'all.
to the topic of the show.
Topic of the show.
I couldn't tell who was singing which part, and for a second I was like, Ben, you really sound like Andrew right now.
You wish.
So, topic of the show today, we're going to be doing launch lineups. Now, launch lineups can be a huge determining factor as to whether or not people will be buying a console early on. Ben is putting chapstick on very sexily. Oh, yeah.
We call it seductive.
So seductive. So, a launch lineup can really dictate whether or not a console gets traction early on in its lifetime. And we've seen launch lineups kind of nuke a system early on. We saw with the 3DS, really had a pretty piss poor launch lineup and struggled, and Nintendo basically had to soft relaunch that console, and with a price cut and a goodwill program for the early adopters. But we've randomly generated a bracket of some of the most interesting console launch lineups, not what we consider the best, but some of the most interesting, and we'll be discussing them as they go head to head to determine which of these consoles had the best launch titles. North American physical retail launches only. So, our first matchup, Andrew, do you have the doc up? Because we have some...
I do.
All right. N64 versus the PlayStation 3. So the Nintendo 64...
Shadows of the Empire, instant winner.
Instant winner. So the Nintendo 64 launched with Super Mario 64, Pilot Wings 64, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, FIFA Soccer 64, which actually was a great game, and Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey, which was not a great game. The PS3 launched with Call of Duty 3, Resistance Fall of Man, Ridge Racer 7, Genji Days of the Blade, don't know what that is, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Untold Legends Dark Kingdom, don't know what that is, Tony Hawk's Project 8.
It's basically a ripoff of Diablo. That's not as good.
Tiger Woods
I had
PGA
Untold
Tour
Legends on PSP.
07, Need for Speed Carbon, Mobile Suit Gundam, Crossfire, Madden 07, and NBA 2K7, NBA 07, which is actually a really interesting game. We'll talk a little more about that later on.
NBA Live 07.
No, NBA 07. It was the Sony Computer Entertainment. It was Sony San Diego. Basically, Sony's basketball version of the show.
But didn't NBA Live 07 probably come out at launch on PS3 too?
It wasn't listed.
Weird.
Blast Factor and Haze. So
Haze was a weird game. You guys
Haze
ever play
was
that?
a weird game.
Drink that nectar.
Yeah, that was.
You get all adrenalicious.
So
Feels like their attempt at Halo. But
Ben, yeah, exactly. That's what Haze was meant to be, was a kind of a Halo killer. We do have a ton of matchups to get to, so we're going to move fairly quickly. The heavy hitter on N64, I mean,
Super
honestly,
Mario, baby.
Exactly. Super Mario. Like, a lot of people say that the N64 had its best game on the day it came out.
Fake news.
Yes. Majora's Mask is much better.
Ocarina of Time, Donkey
Yes.
Kong 64.
It's not a good game.
Oh, it's just... Yo, did you ever play Shadow Man? That was another really good game.
I never played Shadow Man, but we're talking about launch games. So the obvious heavy lifter here for N64 is Super Mario 64. But Andrew, I know you liked Shadows of the Empire. Ben, did you play any of these other games?
Nope.
Oh, God. I played...
Yeah, I could give a flying bag of farts about Pilot Wings, FIFA, or hockey. Like, I definitely never played any of those. I'm surprised. I'm actually sort of surprised to hear Blitz. It wasn't a launch title, because Blitz, now there's a fun sports game.
I remember playing, the closest I ever came to playing Blitz, I played a lot of Hits, and I played quite a bit of that baseball game. Ben, what was that baseball game that we sat in my parents' basement for like hours playing on the
Ken
Wii?
Griffey.
No, on the Wii. The Bigs.
Oh, yeah.
God, that game was ridiculous. I don't know why we played so much of that game.
The PS3's launch titles, like, sort of the same thing. It's like a spew of, like, meh.
Bullshit.
And then you've got Call of Duty 3, Resistance Fall of Man, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'll throw Haze in there, and the rest of them are all kind of like meh. Tony Hawk's Project 8.
Yeah, that game
fun,
was okay.
But like Untold Legends, I had that on PSP. It's basically just a shittier version of Diablo.
Yeah. So Call of Duty 3 honestly was a pretty bad Call of Duty.
Yeah, but it was still back when they had the World War II Call of Duties that were just so much fun.
I know, and that's why you got to play Call of Duty World War II. It's great. Download my copy.
I do.
Yeah, I feel like neither of these are really great. I guess I give my vote to N64 because Super Mario 64 is more fun than any of those games that are on PS3.
I would say Super Mario 64 is arguably more fun than all of those games on PS3 combined.
Yeah, probably.
Honestly, I did think Resistance, while not necessarily the best executed game, I actually loved the Resistance games. Like, I liked the idea of aliens invading during World War II and like the mankind having to fight back with just
it was a cool idea.
Technology.
But Ben, I'm with you. Super Mario 64 is kind of just going to win over all of these games.
Y'all are just forgetting about Star Wars. Yo. Empire Strikes Back
That's
was the
not
best.
a great game.
It's the fucking best.
It's not a
Star
good game.
there's not a Star Wars game on PS3.
Not
there?
at launch.
Yeah.
No,
So,
we're talking about
Shadows of the Empire.
yeah.
Well, but we're still saying that 64 is a better launch. Has
Yeah.
a better launch. So we're agreeing with you, Andrew.
All right.
Excellent.
So
But
we're
we've
all
never
we're
played
all in
that
agreement. We're moving the N64 on. Is that correct?
N64, yeah.
All right. Now this next one is actually a really interesting matchup because I love the PS Vita. So we're talking Nintendo DS versus the PlayStation Vita. The Nintendo DS launched with Asphalt Urban GT, which is a franchise that has gone mobile now. Feel the Magic XYXX.
Fun game.
Of course you've played that game.
What is that?
It's like a sex dating game. You should see the cover art. It's hilarious. Of course Ben's played that game. I am aware of what that game is, but I have never played it. Madden 05, Metroid
Fun
Prime.
game.
Fun game.
Oh, I get it. XYXX because they're chromosomes.
Yeah. Feel the Magic. Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario 64 DS,
Did play it.
The Herbs, Sims in the City. And the Vita launched with Hot Shots Golf World Invitational, Little Deviants, Mod Nation Racers Road Trip, Uncharted Golden Abyss, Wipeout 2048, Army Corps of Hell, Asphalt Injection, Ben 10, Galactic Racing, BlazBlue. Is that pronounced BlazBlue or BlazeBlue?
Blaze,
Does anybody care?
Blaze Blue. Those are like the fighting games.
Yep. Good question, Ben. Does
Those
anyone
games
care?
are pretty awesome.
BlazBlue, Continuum, Shift 2, Extend, which that's a really dumb title. Dungeon Hunter Alliance, Dynasty Warriors Next, F1 2011, FIFA Soccer, Luminous, Electronic Symphony, Michael Jackson The Experience, Rayman Origins, Shinobido 2, Revenge of Zen, Touch My Katamari, Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate, or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is what that is, Virtua Tennis 4, World Tour Edition. The Vita had a much larger launch library.
I'm going with
already
the DS because
a
Super
trend.
Mario 64 is on there also, and it just wins out again.
Yeah, I'm noticing a trend already that it's very much like quality over quantity.
With
Vita's
Nintendo.
like games. You're like, but they all suck.
That's
And then
not true.
DS is like, here's like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
games.
Uncharted
And,
Golden
like,
Abyss is good.
Hot Shots Golf is awesome.
FIFA was fun. Never
FIFA
played
was
Hot Shots Golf.
Awesome. Wipeout 2048. And
like,
Ultimate
That's it. I guess Ultimate
MVC.
Marvel versus Capcom was pretty good, but
Rayman
Put that
Origins.
on Vita.
Rayman Origins is good, but like
Put that.
all the rest of these, I personally, Hot Shots,
Warriors
eh.
Next could have been okay.
Uncharted,
Yeah.
I guess. Well,
I'm honestly between these two, I'm going Vita.
DS because of Super Mario 64 and Feel the Magic XYXX.
I like that you got really close to your microphone and lowered
Spider-Man
your
too.
voice.
And Madden 05. You could draw your own hot routes. That was sick as fuck.
I really appreciate that on this podcast. Just a huge blind spot for both Andrew and I is sports games, and Ben just has these really hard opinions on sports games.
It's true.
You could try your own
can we-
hot routes. That was sick as fuck.
Yeah, it
the
was
only sports
fucking
game I
dope.
acknowledge is Rocket League.
All right, Andrew, you got to be the tiebreaker here because I'm voting Vita. Ben's voting DS.
I don't know. I think I would vote DS too. It's got Super Mario 64, Spider-Man 2, Metroid Prime, which I was always a big fan of, and I did like the Asphalt games. I played the mobile ones before.
All right, I guess we're moving DS on. That really breaks my heart because I fucking love the Vita.
Well, you'll probably get your heart repaired in a moment.
Yeah, because Here comes the one I think is the favorite to win the whole thing, and it's not the Super Nintendo. So, the Super Nintendo versus the Xbox 360. Super Nintendo launched with Super Mario World, F-Zero, and Pilot Wings. Pretty weak launch lineup, if you ask me.
Yeah. Where the 360, Call of Duty 2.
Yeah, so, okay.
Perfect Dark Zero.
The Xbox 360 launched with Amped 3, Call of Duty 2, Condemned Criminal Origins, FIFA Soccer 06, Road to 2006 FIFA World Cup. It's a really long title.
Gun. That was a cool game.
Cameo, Elements of Power, Madden NFL 06, NBA 2K6, NBA Live 06, Need for Speed Most Wanted, NHL 2K6, Perfect Dark Zero, Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official video game of the movie. It's a stupid title. Project Gotham Racing 3, Quake 4, Ridge Racer 6, Tiger Woods, PGA Tour 06, Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. This is an obvious, this is just...
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly it's the SNES.
Fuck you. I mean, Super Mario 64 came out on the SNES at launch, so what can I say?
Red Dead had come out on it at launch. Whew.
No, so the 360, honestly, just going through that list, may have had the best launch lineup of all time. 360 was so good because Call of Duty 2 was an amazing game.
Condemned was sick too.
Condemned was sick as fuck. Amped
Quake
3.
4.
Quake 4
FIFA 06
was a great game. I didn't play
Gun
FIFA 06. Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Gun was a very interesting.
It was
Gun was
an
almost
okay
like
game.
Red Dead, in a way. I
They
remember
were
that was a
on,
game where you
Western
could scalp
popularity.
people.
Yeah. Gun was it was, I remember Gun got delayed a few times, and it was very much a game that they were it was a very ambitious Western game that just wasn't able to, it did a lot of the things that Red Dead wound up doing better than Red Dead Revolver.
But it was sort of a prequel to all that.
Yeah,
The
it
Western
sort of
game.
Kind of like masturbating in the sun.
Don't know what that means, but okay. Tiger Woods, or
I was thinking
not Tiger
chestnuts.
Woods. Tony Hawk's American Wasteland was a really cool game.
Was that the one where there were no loading screens?
Yes. Well, I mean, there were loading screens, but they disguised them as tunnels, which those tunnels were pretty stupid. But yes, that is the one that had no loading screens. This game and actually Need for Speed Most Wanted are very similar in their own respective franchises to me, because there was Need for Speed Underground was great. Tony Hawk's Underground was great. Need for Speed Underground 2 was much better. Tony Hawk's Underground 2, much better. And then Most Wanted and American Wasteland were both kind of evolutions of the idea, almost a third in those sub-series, but just didn't live up to the second ones, but still very enjoyable games. Ben looks like he has something devious to say. No, just chewing on your pinky like Dr. Evil.
Devious.
So, I mean, this one obviously has to go to the 360, right?
Yeah.
SNES.
Shut the fuck up,
360.
All right, so we're moving to 360
times, baby.
Well,
Game Boy versus GameCube. Let's do it.
Game Boy versus GameCube. So we went with the Game Boy Advanced for this, because the Game Boy launch lineup sucked. Game Boy Advance was actually just a better console altogether. Army Men Advance, Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Choo Choo Rocket, Earthworm Jim, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Fire Pro Wrestling, GT Advance World Cup, GT Advance World Championship Racing, Iridon 3D, Iridian, Konami Crazy Racers. Good thing that they didn't make that a triple K. Namco Museum, Pinobi Wings of Adventure, Pitfall the Mayan Adventure, Rayman Advance, Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2, Super Dodgeball Advance, Super Mario Advance, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And the GameCube launched with All-Star Baseball 2002, Batman Vengeance, Crazy Taxi, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2, Disney's Tarzan Untamed, Luigi's Mansion, Madden NFL 2002, NHL Hits 2002, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader, Super Monkey Ball, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Wave Race Blue Storm. This one's going to be a bit more tough.
I mean, I used to love the Game Boy Advance, but all the games I loved came out not on launch. Where the GameCube has Super Monkey Ball, really fun, Luigi's Mansion, and Crazy Taxi, and Star Wars Rogue Squadron,
and NHL Hits.
Honestly, the silver bullet for the GameCube
and Dave Mirra BMX.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is really the silver bullet. That is the game.
Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2.
But Luigi's Mansion.
Ben, are you being
and
serious?
And Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi. But are you being serious about Dave Mirra BMX 2?
100%.
That's your no voice. So
no, I am.
I would say
love that game.
I gotta say GameCube.
Don't
because
talk bad about Dave Mirra, man.
He's dead.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
I'm positive that he's not.
Rest in peace. Let's look it up. All right.
Oh wait, maybe he. Oh no, he got shot by somebody. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was crazy.
I thought he killed himself.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's
he got shot by somebody. It was himself.
It was himself.
Rest in peace.
Oh.
Let's see.
I like it.
On February 4th, 2016, Mirra died from apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. So, Ben, you're technically right. That's pretty fucked up. But
it was himself.
That was a pretty lit game. So, no, this one's got to go to the GameCube.
My haters.
The Game Boy Advance launched with some pretty good games, but nowhere near what the GameCube did.
That's the truth.
All right. Now, a pretty interesting one. Andrew, I'm glad you're on the show because I'm not real familiar with the PS2 launch lineup. PS2 launched with Armored Core 2, DOA 2, I'm assuming that's Dead or Alive 2, Hardcore, Dynasty Warriors 2, ESPN International Track and Field, that sounds boring as fuck, ESPN X Games, Snowboarding, Ben, I see your titties, Eternal Ring.
What Eternal Ring is.
Evergrace, Fantavision, is that like the soda? Gun Griffin Blaze. Gun Griffin Blaze. Kessin, Madden NFL 2001, Midnight Club, MotoGP, NHL 2001, Cue Ball,
Orphan. I kind of remember that, but I don't remember what it is.
I have no idea what that game is. Orphan, Cue Ball Billiards Masters,
Silent Scope. That was a fun game.
Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2, Ridge Racer 5, Silent Scope, Smuggler's Run. Wow, Rockstar had 2 games at launch. That's crazy. SSX, that game was amazing. Terrible box art. Street Fighter EX3.
Summoner. That's a really interesting
Swing
game.
Away. Tekken Tag.
Tekken Tag. I love that one.
Time Splitters. Unreal Tournament. Wild Wild Racing. And X Squad. That was a mouthful. And the Wii launched with Avatar The Last Airbender, Call of Duty 3, Cars, Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 2. It's a stupid name. Excite Truck. That game was awesome. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Don't know what that was. GT Pro Series. Happy Feet.
Wasn't that a TV show?
I don't know.
Like on like Nickelodeon or something?
I don't know. We can Google that. Happy Feet. The Legend of Zelda
Siri.
Twilight Princess.
What's the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy?
Here's what
you don't know the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy?
She don't know. Andrew's picking his nose.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew, what is the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy?
Well, you never watched the show?
No.
On like Cartoon Network? It's
No.
Billy
So
and
I told
Mandy
you.
and the Grim Reaper. And the Grim Reaper's like their homie. It's a really weird fucking cartoon, but it's a Cartoon Network video game.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that that's what that was from. Okay. Interesting. Whatever. Legends of Zelda Twilight Princess, Madden NFL 07, the best Madden ever, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Monster 4x4 World Circuit, Need for Speed Carbon, Rampage Total Destruction, Rayman Raving Rabbids, Red Steel, SpongeBob SquarePants, Creature from the Krusty Krab, Super Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz, Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam, Trauma Center, Second Opinion, Wii Sports. First of all, I love that it's called Trauma Center Second Opinion because someone fucked up in the first.
Still here, but
so this is an interesting one because none of these games from the PS2, I mean, I'm not going to say none. I mean, there was like Midnight Club, SSX,
Madden 2001.
Well, Madden 07 launched on the Wii, and that was the best Madden ever.
Smuggler's Run.
Smuggler's Run was an interesting game. Very weird game. Dynasty
Tekken
Warriors
Tag
2.
Tournament.
Tekken Tag, yeah.
Unreal Tournament.
Oof, God. Yeah, I mean, this is like...
Dynasty Warriors 2. That's probably the best Dynasty Warriors. International Track and Field. That's a fun game, dude.
No,
Doing fucking
shut
track
the
and
fuck
field.
up.
Javelin throw. The javelin throw part of that game was the best.
Whereas the Wii came out with Twilight Princess, so... like,
could you throw a javelin in Twilight Princess?
yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
I don't believe that. You can throw a boomerang.
thank you.
All right. It wins. We wins. You can throw a boomerang.
Twilight Princess, Madden 07, you know, like... Oh, Andrew got beer.
I stubbed my toe. And
Andrew got a
beer.
drink and hid his girlfriend from us, is what he was doing there.
Quick
No
blowjob.
comment.
Don't think we don't know that, idiot.
Is she under the desk now?
Yep, I heard her. Did you hear that? That's what a blowjob sounds like, right?
Andrew's
Yeah,
face is
that's
very
what
red.
that's what they all sound like to me, right?
So yeah, this has got to be the Wii. Call of Duty 3, Excite Truck,
Rampage Total Destruction.
Twilight Princess, Madden 07,
Rampage Total Destruction, dude. Don't
Rampage
forget about
Total Destruction.
Rampage Total Destruction.
Wii Sports.
Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on Rampage Total Destruction.
All right, we're moving the Wii on.
The Wii is the
Xbox
one
360
you guys picked?
Connect.
I'll leave it at that.
Is Xbox 360 Connect next?
It is not because that
The
I'm pretty
Xbox versus the PSP. Oh man,
Xbox
I definitely would give it to the PSP.
Xbox versus the PSP, and this is our final round of the final matchup of the first round.
Yo, the only one Xbox has going for it is Halo and Oddworld.
Ah, shut the fuck up. Shrek was a pretty awesome game.
Yo, the PSP has Spider-Man 2, Metal Gear Acid, Dynasty Warriors. Metal Gear
Okay.
Acid is an awesome game.
All right,
by
we're
the
gonna
way.
list
If
them
you
off.
like Metal Gear Solid, Patrick, I highly recommend trying them because they're fucking addicting. Like, I don't know what it was about like the card aspect of that game that like really fucking got me.
All right, we're gonna list them off. The Xbox launched with Shrek, Halo Combat Evolved, best launch title ever. Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey, Dead or Alive 3, Project Gotham Racing, NFL Fever 2002, great game.
PGR.
Air Force, Delta Storm, Mad Dash Racing, Cell Damage, Arctic Thunder, Fusion Frenzy, awesome game. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X, arguably the best version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. The PSP launched with Ape Escape on the Loose, great game. Darkstalkers Chronicle, The Chaos Tower, Dynasty Warriors, Gretzky NHL, great game. Lumines, great game. Metal Gear Acid, interesting game. NBA, not a good game.
Great game. Fake news.
NBA, great game.
Need for Speed Underground Rivals, great game. NFL Street
Twisted Metal
2,
Head On.
No, that actually, there was an NBA Live on PSP that was a great game. Sorry, I was mistaken.
Ridge Racer, Spider-Man 2, Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix, Twisted Metal Head On, Untold Legends Brotherhood of the Blade, Wipeout Pure, World Tour Soccer. Awesome game. That one, because Shrek is a good game. Shrek is actually a pretty good platformer.
I'm sorry, but no.
No, it actually is.
It's like the Madagascar games. I'm like, you got platforming comfortable, but the rest of the game is just fucking
Did you
garbage.
play Shrek?
No,
It's
but I
good.
played the Madagascar game.
Nope.
I beat
Shrek
it
is
in
better
one
than
night.
Madagascar. So Shrek is a good game. Oddworld
Yo, but
Munch's
Ape
Odyssey
Escape.
is a very good game.
Ape Escape.
Dead or Alive 3 is a good game. Project Gotham Racing is an okay game. NFL Fever 2002
Halo is the one that really like puts the Xbox up there,
in
but
contention. Halo is the one.
like I don't
That's
know. There's
the
a
thing.
lot of good ones. Like on the PSP, the PSP was a good system.
I
Ape Escape,
loved the
Dynasty
PSP.
Warriors, Metal Gear Acid. I'll throw Need for Speed Underground in there, Spider-Man 2, Tony Hawk's Underground, Twisted Metal. And I will say the Untold Legends games are fun on the PSP. Actually, I'm pretty sure Brotherhood was the one I had. I'm pretty sure that.
World Tour Soccer is good, but the launch title for PSP was for me was Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Like
The reason I bought it was when Grand Theft Auto Stories
oh yeah.
came
God,
out.
the PSP was such a good console. Like the PSP, honestly, I bought 2 Vitas. I had an
getting
OLED
the
Vita.
internet on mine. That was my first laptop. That was the first thing I jerked it on.
Yeah, exactly. No, I had an OLED Vita, and then
You
I
jerked it on it?
Would come on the
Andrew
screen.
just coming all over his PSP, and his dad is like,
Yo.
"I bought that. I spent a lot of money on that."
Beautiful moment in my childhood. The PSP was my first portable like internet device.
Portable porn machine.
I would look up information and sometimes beat my meat.
There you go.
Meet your feet.
So
Those meat
honestly,
sweats.
on the whole, the PSP launched with some good sports games. World Tour Soccer was really fun. Gretzky NHL was really fun. Dynasty Warriors was an interesting game. Need for Speed Rivals was really fun. Spider-Man 2 was okay. But Tony Hawk's Underground 2, I played the
Twisted
fuck
Metal,
out
yo.
of that
Twisted
game.
Metal games have never been bad, except for the Twisted Metal that they made on PS4. I thought that one was pretty bad, but fun, but not awesome.
But counterpoint, the
Spider-Man 2.
the Xbox had the best launch title of all time.
Cell Damage.
Fusion
Arctic
Frenzy,
Thunder.
actually.
Air
no.
Force Delta Storm.
Mad Dash
Yeah,
Racing.
man, the Xbox kind of like on this list after NFL Fever 2002, it just kind of goes off the wheels come off the bus.
PGR.
Halo Combat
Game
Evolved.
so nice they didn't continue making it after the 4th one.
But they made 4 of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, Halo, like Oddworld.
That's a good game.
That's a cool game, but
And it
like
makes you
Halo
cry in the
is really
first
the
5
only
minutes.
one on there that like really.
It is
jumped
nice munching Munch's Odyssey.
Like, I'm sorry, I have to give it to the PSP. Metal Gear Acid, Dynasty Warriors, Twisted Metal, Need for Speed, Tony Hawk. Like, those 5 are like
That was a fuckload of games to play on
Those are
the
like
go.
great
That was a
little
fuckload of good
Untold
games.
Legends, I will say.
I played Underground 2 Remix, I guess, on PSP.
I still have a copy of
One
Underground
of
2.
those that I played.
While, because that was the first game I ever had on the PSP, and I remember beating it like 4 times. I beat it with like every character because that was my Diablo.
I still
Until
have my copy
I
of
saw
Underground
Light,
2
you know?
Remix. Ben, what are you going to vote for?
PSP-ness.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go for the PSP too because God, that thing was so good.
Unanimous on every vote.
No, because you and I split on what did we split on? The DS versus the Vita.
Oh, yeah, because you're crazy.
Dude, Uncharted Golden Abyss. It's one of the most impressive.
Not better than Super Mario 64.
Whatever.
Moving
All
on.
right. So that's our first round. Going on to the second round in a 3-way head-to-head. Next week, we've got the N64 versus the DS versus the 360. and the GameCube versus the Wii versus the PSP. The winners of those will face each other for the finals, but that's going to be next week. Now, this week, I want to know what you guys are going to be playing this week. Ben, tell me what you're going to be playing.
NBA 2K.
Oh, okay. Playing that on Xbox?
I'm going to be spanking the shit out of Chris and getting my ass spanked by Billy.
There seems to be a pecking order in your house. And everyone knows their place.
Exactly.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Chris and I were playing, and Chris was beating me, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I can't beat your starting lineup," because he was the Warriors and I was the Trailblazers, and so like I had a far worse team, and then he like took out his starting lineup, and I was like, "Don't do that for me," and he's like, "I'm not. I want to keep him fresh for the end," and I was like, "All right," and then I got back into the lead, and then he put him back in, and I kept the lead and won, and I was like, I told you shouldn't have done that.
Man, Chris is a stupid guy. Andrew, tell me what you're going to be playing this week.
Resident Kingdom Evil Hearts.
3, 2.
2, 3.
32.
32. Yep. Probably just a bunch of both. I sort of am just swapping in and out. Like I'll play one, and then when I'm like, all right, this is too cheerful and like fun, I need to blow something's head up.
I really need a downer right now.
Yeah, no, it's more just like I just need to like, watch something's head like explode. Just like
remind myself that I'm an adult.
Remind myself. Seriously, sometimes in Kingdom Hearts you're like, oh my god, the like peppiness is disgusting.
Why am I playing this?
I'm like, why do I like this so much?
Exactly.
Then you get off. You turn off your PS4 and put on some Kingdom Hearts porn, and you're like, oh yeah, to give this context.
Honestly, though, playing Resident Evil 2, I did flip back through all my downloaded games, and I didn't even realize that like sitting all the way at the end of my queue, I have Resident Evil 7 still installed. So I might turn that on because I've been enjoying playing it while like people watch. Because at least that game I have to play.
Is your girlfriend
while
watching
watch.
you play too?
I mean, a little.
Wait, she's your girlfriend now?
No, don't worry about it. But the seventh one, like I cannot play it without
Andrew, tell me.
She's still under the desk
without like having people around because it's like too fucking tense for me. But the second one, I'm like all about. I can just run all around and I'm just like pop, 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 pop.
It's not nearly as scary as 7.
It'll scare you sometimes, and you'll poop yourself a little bit.
Oh yeah,
right.
there's been several moments where I've like been like, holy fuck!
Yeah,
like,
just like squeezed out a deer turd.
Yeah, like a little like.
Have you guys shoved
like
a flashbang in a licker's mouth?
Not in a licker's
not
mouth.
in a licker's mouth. In another one's chest.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, I got one in a zombie's mouth and got the achievement for like shooting it afterward, and it like blows their head off.
Oh, okay. I got one in a licker's mouth, and I got the achievement for paralyzing its sense of hearing.
Oh,
because
so that's
like
like
they're just like totally lost when it pops in their mouth. They just have no idea where anything is, and they're just like thrashing around randomly, and you just can run by, or you can shoot an incendiary grenade. And
I prefer to lay into them with some lead, hot steaming lead.
So I'm gonna be probably finishing RE2 this week, but now before we go,
I'm also playing Resident Evil 2 on easy.
Yeah, same. Too scary. We have a new segment, and we haven't named it yet, but we'll get to that later. But bringing it back, trivia time. Now we're gonna have one trivia question every week. We're gonna keep an ongoing score for the year. And this week's trivia question. We've all been playing a lot of Smash lately. Which of these characters was not unlockable in Super Smash Bros. Melee?
Dr. Mario.
Yeah.
A, Dr. Mario. B, Falco. C, Luigi. D, Ice Climbers.
Dr. Mario.
You're both incorrect.
Is it Falco?
It was Ice Climbers.
What?
No, that's wrong.
Ice Climbers
No,
are
it's
in Melee, aren't they?
Ice Climbers
They are in Melee. The Ice Climbers are not unlockable in Melee. They're unlocked from the beginning.
Oh, that's a trick question.
No, it's not.
Your game sucks. I don't recognize the trick questions.
Doesn't
So
You
wasn't Dr. Mario not unlockable whatsoever?
All three of the others were unlockable characters.
You're a cocksucking boner fucking biter.
I don't know.
And
That's
you're all
a
we've
big
got
boner
for you
biter.
guys tonight. If you liked us, if you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe on whatever podcast service you found us on. You can also check out our movies podcast, No Refunds, the podcast that watches bad movies, so you don't have to. This week we watched, what's the newest episode, Ben? Mummy? Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Yeah, that was the most recent.
You can find everything we do all in one spot over at coldnorthpro.com.
Such a great website.
We'll be back next week.
Masterpiece.
Wrapping up our bracket. So until next week, reset.
Resquit!
Re-wet.
Hold the power button until it turns all the way off, and you hear a click.
Yeah, that's what we call hard reset.
Pull the power cord out.
No, then you're gonna get it. Then you're gonna get a lecture.
Yeah, from PS4.
I love that lecture. It's like, hey, you didn't.
If you have an external, it's actually very bad, and you really can lose data. So
So
be
listen
careful.
to the lecture.
Hey, listen to the lecture.